Hello, this is Chris Maynor coming to you from the campus of Union University in Jackson, Tennessee. In this video, we're going to see how we can determine a market equilibrium using algebra. Up until this point in the earlier sections of this lesson, we have found equilibrium using a graphical approach, using supply and demand equations. And of course, equilibrium is found at the intersection of supply and demand. It is the point at which quantity supplied equals quantity demanded. And using a graph, it's very easy to locate equilibrium. Again, it's just that point where the two curves intersect. It's also fairly easy to find equilibrium using algebra. In this problem, we are given a market demand and a market supply curve for a good. The market demand is given by quantity demanded equals 10 minus 2p, and market supply is quantity equals 2 plus 2p. You'll notice these are both direct equations, direct demand, direct supply. This would work even if they were inverted, but generally we find equilibrium beginning with direct demand and supply equations. So we're asked to determine the equilibrium price and quantity. Remember that every equilibrium has two components, an equilibrium price and an equilibrium quantity. So to do that, we just simply recall the definition of equilibrium. Equilibrium, again, is that point in a market, that price in a market where there is a balance between quantity supplied and quantity demanded, where the two are equal. So to find equilibrium, we simply take the supply equation, 2 plus 2p, and set that equal to the demand equation, 10 minus 2p. Now you'll notice now that we have an equation where we have the unknown p, which is the price. And from this point on, we just simply use basic algebra. I always like to try to get all the p's on one side of the equal sign, preferably on the left side. So to do that, I'm going to add 2p to both sides. And so that will give me 2 plus 4p equals, this all cancels, equals 10. And next step, again, just to isolate the price on one side, I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. So subtract 2, and so this cancels, and that will leave me with 4p equals 8. And so almost done. At this point, just divide both sides by 4, and that will leave us with price equals 2. So equilibrium price, we'll just label this equilibrium price, is 2. So that's part of the solution to our problem. But remember, we also need a quantity. So how do we determine the equilibrium quantity? Well, we simply take this price and we go back to either the demand equation or the supply equation, because remember, we're in equilibrium. Quantity supplied, quantity demanded are equal. So we can simply take that price of $2 and substitute it for p. I'm going to use the demand equation. So quantity demanded equals 10 minus 2 times the price of 2. So quantity demanded would be 10 minus 4, or 6. And just to show you that it doesn't matter which equation you use, if we use the supply equation, again, it's 2 plus 2 times the price. And again, that's also 6. By the way, it might be helpful to actually use both. Plug your price into both the supply and demand equation to make sure they're equal, and that will give you a little test of safety to make sure that you're on the right track. So again, it's very easy to find equilibrium using algebra, very easy to find equilibrium using the graphical approach. You will see some problems like this later on. This is discussed in your textbook. So make sure you understand this approach to finding equilibrium.